Like, let's start over. I do not agree with that point at all.
Hello everyone, Simmer here. And today we're diving into something that's honestly very close to me.
Oh man, people are gonna rage because I'm reacting to another Sirma video after the benchmark debacle. For sure, for sure.
Revenant. Yes, that Revenant. A class that is stylish, unique, extremely fun.
I leveled hell to level 80, I wanted to kill myself. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's so fun. Okay, so here's the thing with Revenant. There are two weapons that are fun with Revenant. A great sword and dual wielding one-handed swords. That's it. Everything else really isn't fun to use. Those two weapons, great. You have the charge, you have the teleport, you have the invulnerability in attacking 7 times, like basically Omni Strike. That part of Revenant feels great. You know what sucks about Revenant? Switching, what do you call them? What do you call these guys? Ancestor, whatever. Okay, switching legend and switching weapon, and when you confuse one or the other, your whole shit goes, like, everything goes to shit. Okay, the staff 5, the CC of the Revan that is like so fucking amazing, requires you to actually take a step back before you do it. That is so uncomfortable to do, right? It's like, oh, skill issue. It's not about skill issue. It's just an uncomfortable mechanic. Like, why do I have to step back in order for my staff 5 to do the most CC possible? Just do it up front. Like, I don't need to step back so that every spin of my staff does its CC, man.
And at the same time, one of the most problematic messes in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. Before we begin, huge shout out to all of
also the inability to play around with your utility is kind of you know, on one hand it's like, it's great that it's already locked in for you, but it also sucks because you can't mix and match for yourself, right? So it's like a lot less choice there. I don't know, not a fan.
Full supporters who help me keep the lights on. Thank you so much. And now, buckle up, because we're going to talk about...
Also, sorry, by the way, short bow is actually pretty fun, but it's... yeah.
Revenant is such a cool class. And also why it's kind of held together with duct tape and prayers. Let's jump straight in. First of all, I love Revenant. I really do. Not just the class fantasy, but the gameplay itself, the flow, the weapon feel, the utilities, the traits. Revenant has some of the most interesting DPS builds in the game, at least to me. Rotations feel good. Legends feel good. The whole design feels incredibly cohesive and
I disagree.
But what I don't like about Revenant is exactly what we are talking about today. Because despite how fun it is, Revenant has some huge...
I would have loved it if he said, what I don't like about Revenant is exactly what I like about Revenant. that would be so fucking good. It's like, yeah, same bro, same.
Structural issues that make it incredibly difficult to balance, not just in PvE, but also in PvP and World versus World. So let's start with the biggest, most fundamental problem. So point number 1. And
I hate the energy management on Revenant. It is so uncomfortable. I get it that it's supposed to force you to change legends and shit, but man, I hate playing around with it. It's just so especially on Renegade, where you have like your F2, or which one does the alacrity? F2 or F3 or F4? I don't remember. Been a while, right? And if you do that, then like just don't use any utility ever and minimize your weapon abilities until like you're ready to switch. So it's like, if you're like a few seconds to switch, spam everything and switch. I don't know, man. I feel like that's such a scuffed gameplay. Now, in PvP and World v World, I get that it's different. I'm just talking about like how it feels in PvE. You hit your alacrity button, and then you just kind of chill with auto attacks. Maybe you throw like a 3-5 or whatever, or like a 2-5, whatever. Like 1 or 2 weapon abilities. And then when you see that you're almost able to switch legends, spam whatever you can and switch within the priority list. I don't know, man. I feel like that's such scuffed gameplay. It's just not very fun. I feel like there should be a different motivator to switch legends, not energy. I feel like there should be like your damage decreases or something the longer you are in the legend. So when you switch, your damage starts higher, and then the longer you are in the legend, the damage would start decreasing. So that would force you to switch, right? But it only decreases to a certain amount. So if you don't want to switch, you don't have to. You're just doing like a percentage less damage than you would if you swapped, right? Like something like that. I don't know. I feel like that would be more interesting, and also having ways to reset that damage reduction, maybe within an ability that would reset it, right? Like let's say if you pop your ultimate at the lowest level, it would reset it to the highest, and then you can do another rotation before you switch. I don't know. I feel like that would be a bit more interesting to play, but this energy system, I don't know, just not fun.
The most important across all game modes. Revenant has a massive flexibility problem. And when I say flexibility, I'm talking about the ability to swap utility skills depending on what you need.
Yeah.
If you're playing Guardian and your group suddenly needs stability, you can just slot in, stand your ground. Done. Yes, you lose a bit of damage, but you still function. With Revenant,
he has to change the whole legend.
You don't get to just change one utility. You don't get to slot in a single stability skill. You have to replace your entire legend. If you're running DPS Herald with Glint and Shiro, but your party suddenly needs stability, well, say goodbye to your aggressive Shiro stance, and now you're running Chalice. And that absolutely tanks your damage. Herald can cope with it a little, but other specs, Condition Renegade, Condi builds in general, or Power Vindicator, you practically delete your entire DPS. And this is just a huge issue in the current meta.
Yeah, but aren't you the quickness DPS? So it's like, does it really matter that it tanks your DPS? And honestly, it doesn't even tank it that much. Like, yeah, Shiro is mostly just auto attack realistically. Like, you pop your utility 4 and you just pretty much go to town with auto attacks, really fast auto attacks. That's great. And it's like, okay, it does damage, but it's like, you kind of swap from Shiro as soon as you can. So it's like, is it really that big of a waste on a quickness DPS? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, again, quickness DPS, you're not really supposed to be... Like, no one really cares about your DPS too much, you know? It's like, just do, like, I don't know, like your 13 to 18k DPS and, like, you're fine. Like, nobody would care.
Classes can bring stability, Aegis, or useful boons even as full DPS builds. Revenant is locked into a rigid legend system. If the legend doesn't have the utility you need, too bad. It's not only for stability, it also has other things. And the worst part, this is not a small balance problem. This is baked into the core design of Revenant. The energy system and the locked utility kits make flexibility...
Until you open the Snogger's benchmark and it says you should be doing 50k DPS, well, again, like, it doesn't really matter that... I think it's like 43k DPS right now on the Quickness Herald. But again, like, that doesn't mean pretty much anything. Like, you know, it really doesn't. Look at all the logs. I don't even remember where Herald was, but it wasn't in the top 5 for sure, ever. Right? None of the Revenants, except for Amalgam, I think, in like 1 or 2 of the fights were at the top 5. It's like, it doesn't matter. And again, like, if you're the support DPS, man, honestly, in 95+% of the content, nobody gives a shit if you DPS slightly more than the healer. Like, you know, like, realistically, right? If you're doing CM, maybe try to pull 15k DPS. Like, I'm talking about fractals, right? In terms of strikes, honestly, like, so many strikes, people don't even pull 25k. So it's like, as a, you're support and you're doing 15, 18, like, you're fine, right? So it's like, maybe some scenarios this would actually matter. Oh, sorry, not Amalgam. The other one. My bad. I said Amalgam, not the Amalgam. The new Revenant spec, the one that nobody likes, the spiky boy, right? The Rockstar.
Extremely difficult to fix without rewriting the entire class. Which leads directly into point number 2. Revenant's core mechanics put so many limitations on its elite specs. I want to...
Yeah, can't do it,
yeah. This is my personal take, but I genuinely believe all Revenant elite specs feel extremely similar.
Yes.
They don't play like completely distinct identities the way, for example, Scourge versus...
I really agree. The only time you feel like your Revenant plays differently is when you like change the weapons you use, not the specializations. Like, yeah, like that's, I 100% agree. When did I say nobody likes Condi Conduit? Said I don't care about Revenant. Said I don't care about Conduit. Also, like, yeah, nobody, like, I don't see people playing it. Like, in any group content, like, it's very rare to see it. You see Ritualist, you see, what do you call it? You see the Elementalist one, the Evoker. I rarely see Conduit. I see Amalgams all the time. I can't remember the last time I saw a Conduit. I'm not saying it doesn't slap. It's in the, I think it's like number 7 in the benchmarks, but like, again, this doesn't mean much. If people don't like playing it, it doesn't matter.
Reaper versus Harbinger do. They are far closer to each other than most classes specs. And the reason is simple. You cannot just...
Just exist, there's no reason to play anything else at this point. I mean, you are not wrong. Ritualist is extremely busted and easy to use. Ritualist is literally Reaper. Like, when Reaper came out, it's literally the same bullshit. Just spam the buttons, you do damage. Yeah, like maybe it's in raids, but like it's very hard to find a raid. I can imagine a Conduit in like maybe Silent Surf, CM, maybe, right? Where you need Condi damage more, but like in terms of like, honestly, overall, Condis are just not the most popular unless like it's Condi that like has a lot of its conditions applied like really, really fast, like a burst of Condi. Like, for example, the reason I like Bleed Virtuoso is because the Condis build up really fast, right? And like you see the damage hitting really, really fast, almost as fast as power. Not as fast, but almost as fast as power. Like the delay is very slow. So I don't think most Condis are able to like pump their Condis so fast. But if they can, yeah, it's insane.
Without changing either the energy system or the legend system entirely.
Just change the energy system
completely into the core Revenant spec.
You know what they need to do? I'm not gonna lie. You know what they need to do? 4 legends. Make it the Elementalist of the heavy class. 4 legends. And fix the, like, do something else with the energy system. I don't know what, but I don't like this energy system. It's just so uncomfortable to play. It's like a time crunch of like you switch 3 seconds, you're very, very reserved, very, very conservative. 4 is too much. Is it really? You don't have to use 4. You can still use 2. But you can use the, like, for example, Elementalist has 4. Do you really need to click Earth and Water very often? Not really. Like, you don't, right? It's usually Fire and Lightning for most of your rotations. Sometimes you throw in the Earth, and like Water is like a filler because, like, let's say Fire is not ready yet, depending on the build, right? But it's like realistically, Water is just a support. Earth, sometimes some Earth has damage, but like mostly it's like a mix support damage, right? Water is the support heal, so it's like that doesn't really do much damage. Like, you can ignore it. If you could ignore those 2, you would, right? On Revenant, you can. I don't see a problem with giving Revenant 4. At least, like, you'll be able to bring like the utilities when people need them, and when people don't, you can still do your damage. Like, that fixes the flexibility problem, because at the very least, Elementalist, even though it has 4 elementals, it can play with the utilities. So, you know, but again, my opinion, the legends are not even the biggest problem. I think the biggest problem is the energy system.
It's insanely unique in its design, but it limits the elite spec design.
Is it unique though?
And ArenaNet has never done that for an elite spec. With Necromancer, they were willing to fundamentally alter how core Shroud works. With Revenant, they've never touched the core mechanic for an expansion spec.
I agree with him up until Ritualist. The Scourge, the Harbinger, and the Reaper feel very different. Because their shrouds feel very different. Ritualist is not very unique in terms of like what he does in the shroud. Spam 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, get out. Like, well, it's mostly 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 for mobility. Like, it's not. It's almost, honestly, I would say Ritualist is a mix of Harbinger and Reaper. It has the Reaper extra health mechanic, and it has the capabilities of the Harbinger. But I don't think Ritualist is very unique. However, Revenant, all 4 of them are pretty much the same shit. So, yeah, so that's a problem.
So every elite spec gets fun new features, but they're still trapped inside the same legend and energy structure.
Yes.
That means elite specs can't truly break out of the Revenant's core limitations.
Yeah, and like I mean, and also look at Warrior, man. Look at Berserker and Bladesworn. That is such a different system. That is feels like a completely different class. Like they have like absolutely like, you know, like don't want to say opposites, but like that is a huge difference. Spellbreaker, not so much, right? But like Bladesworn is so unique compared to like everything else the Warrior has. So yeah, because instead of like the other ones are generating energy, Bladesworn only kind of like uses the energy to generate charges, right? Whereas the other ones generate energy, and the energy is the charge. So I don't know, it feels very different.
Existing ones still remain, and the elite spec has to work around the limitations of the core legends and the core energy balancing. This gets especially messy when we look at support. This is the big one. Let's talk about Revenant support, or the lack of it. Revenants can fill DPS roles extremely well. Yeah. Power, Convi, all game modes, no issue. But when it comes to support, things start falling apart quickly.
Why?
And not only defensive, but also offensive supports. Here's the core problem. Out of all the core legends, only Centaur stance is truly built for healing and support. Yeah. Glint is fine for boons, but actual healing? No. Chalice? No. Shiro? Definitely no. Melex? Also no. It's really like Centaur stance is the only healing build. So if you...
Yeah. How many specializations have multiple different healing builds? Like Chronomancer healer is Chronomancer healer. Like there's not much to play with there. Right? Most of your utilities are also kind of locked to the wells. Like you can kind of play with 1 or 2 of them, but like you're kind of locked completely, and you pretty much have to use rifle for your healing, and then scepter shield for just like other boons. But like you're kind of locked. Those are weapons, so it's like that has nothing to do with the class. It's just a weapon, right? To say that like Vindicator is locked to Centaur, I don't know. I feel like you're locked to Centaur and Chalice, right? The dwarf. Like dwarf is your stability, Chalice is like just your healer, right? So you have like the support, and then you have the healer legends. I mean, like isn't that pretty much most healers? Like I don't really get his point here.
Want to be a healer or a support?
What's unique?
You're basically forced into Centaur stance every single time.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable, because that is your only major source of healing. And the elite spec legends, well, they don't really fix this. Renegade gives some support, Herald gives boons, Vindicator gives a bit of everything, but none of them replace the Centaur stance as your primary healer kit. And don't get me started on conduit support. This is why Revenant is the only class in the entire...
It's like saying that a fire elementalist can't heal because he has to be in water, in the water element in order to do all of the healing. I don't get his point here. What healer is like is different in this regard. Scourge healer is the same. You spam your F3 and F4, right? Or sorry, F2 and F4, right? F3 is fear. You spam your F2 and F4, and you spread your shrouds, and that is the whole gameplay. I'm trying to understand. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to understand the argument. Like, what healer is like so unique that you can play around with it so much? I would say Mirage, but that's like a meme healer. It's like, yeah, you can make it work, but it's like not a serious healer. That's like a healer for like T4s and like strikes, right? And you can do it in raids too, but not CMs, right? You can do it as like a regular hero for everything, but not like actual content that your healer actually needs to do shit, right? Because what's it called? The Mirages, you can use whatever utility you want because it's all about dodge and rifle one, realistically, right? Like spamming 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to think like which other healer is unique in that regard. Like I can't think of like maybe engineer, but like I don't know enough about an engineer healer, so.
And it does not have a top tier meta healer spec, not a single one. Every other class has
Most
at
people
least
don't.
one strong healer. Revenant, all 4 technically could heal. Conduit less, but they could. Herald, Renegade, Vindicator. But they are all significantly weaker than the competition. And it's not just healing, because Revenant also has to juggle stability, boots.
But we had this problem for the longest time in Guild Wars 2. It's like every other spec can heal. Not really. Thief can't heal. Thief can heal as well as a... Honestly, I would take a Herald healer before I would take a Spectre, which is basically the only healer, as far as I know, that Thief has. Right? I would take a Herald. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, cool. So, like, now that Scourge got stability on Staff 5, now it's more viable. But Scourge was already like a very strong healer, it just lacked stability, like realistically, right? Chronomancer was just always the best. It is what it is, right? And then you have Engineer Healer, I forget which one. Not is it Machinist? I don't think it's Machinist, I think it's Scrapper. I think Scrapper Healer is the one, right? Which is just like a ton of boons. Warrior doesn't really heal. You can, but like you don't bring Warrior to heals, right? Druid is not meta anymore. Druid is fine, but it's not amazing. Most people don't bring it for any any high tier shit. At least not that I've seen from videos. Even what's it called? Firebrand, which is like the boon master, is honestly, in my opinion, inferior to very inferior to Chronomancer and to Scourge. Paragon heal. Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot they added Paragon, but Paragon heal is fine. Yeah, Paragon. I guess that he was made for it. Yeah. So yeah, you're right about Paragon. I forgot that they made Paragon. But like, I don't know. I feel like this is like a problem that kind of like everyone had, and now they're fixing up some classes, and just Revenant is just like going to be the last fix, right? Like that's what it feels like. Because before like a few patches ago, you didn't have any heals on Thief at all. Like even Spectre heal was not a thing until like I want to say like maybe 3 months ago, right before the expansion hit. So I don't know, man. Like I get his argument, but I honestly think Herald Healer is in like a pretty solid spot. I don't know. Like for most content, when you do CMs, you bring meta. Like it is what it is.
CC and whatever utility the lead spec theoretically offers. But since you're locked to only 2 legends at a time, you simply can't fit everything in. You want stability, you want healing, you want the elite spec stance, maybe you want some reflect or projectile hate. Too bad, you only get 2 legends. Pick your poison. this is why Revenant healers struggle so much. And again,
but you don't have to take Scion as a herald. You can still just take Dwarf and Centaur. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's not a numbers problem. It's structural. The healing output of a healing herald is insane. The problem is it is not flexible. Keep that in mind. Just one example here.
Okay.
We still aren't done. This flexibility issue also affects DPS and offensive renegade builds in general, especially power builds. Power Revenant typically runs Greatsword and Sword for amazing DPS and super fun gameplay. But the CC is almost none then. And because you're locked into Shiro for maximum DPS, guess what? Still no CC in the utility kit.
Bro, I've seen so many Vindicators and Heralds that just run Sword, and Staff. Or, yeah, usually Sword, Staff. Sometimes Greatsword, Staff. I don't understand the point he's making. Like, if we compare anything to Necromancer, he's right. But then everybody kind of sucks on that regard. You know, everybody sucks in everything because Necromancer can fear you every 3 seconds for 2 seconds. Okay, let's take Necromancer out of the equation for a second. Okay, if we compare to every other class, who does this? Like, who has such amazing CC and damage at the same time? Thief doesn't have it. Thief is like pure damage and run away. Okay, so which is basically kind of like what Herald does as well. Virtuoso has practically no CC and run away. Warrior has a lot of CC and one shot, basically. You know, the sword swipe after double kick, like kick and like stomp or whatever, and then just like sword swipe you. But like that's like, again, that's like 1 CC, and if he misses it, he's like not doing anything. And again, Amalgam is broken. Let's be real. Like let's not lie to ourselves. Amalgam should be a Reaper at this point. Like, that's how broken it is, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like everybody kind of like has it. Besides, the dragon is a good CC. Now, yeah, obviously, like, here's the thing: if you run 2 offensive legends, then yeah, bro. But it's like, imagine it's like I ran full offensive Virtuoso. Why would I bring CC if I'm full offensive? Like, maybe that's his point. That's like, you can't be like half offensive, but it's like you can just bring Shiro and whoever else does CC. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like this is such a big problem, especially with how strong Vindicator is in World v World and PvP. Like, Vindicator is a fucking god.
A little bit, but not too much. So Revenant becomes a glass cannon without the huge payoff damage numbers to justify this fragility if you compare it with the current DPS top tier picks. Meanwhile, the Condi builds do a little better in CC, but the offensive support builds like Alacrity Renegade or Quickness Herald, they're in an awkward middle ground where they don't provide enough damage and don't provide enough utility, in my opinion. At least in raids and strike missions. In Fractals, Renegade is good. A check of all trade, Revenant is kind of a master of not too much, and that's a big problem. I want to be clear here. Revenant is fun, it's fluid, it's unique, it feels good to play, but I generally think Revenant is the most problematic class in the entire game from a design and balance standpoint. Not because it's...
I'd say Mirage is by far the most problematic. It's mediocre healer, it's mediocre power DPS, and its Condi is a trap and it's extremely hard to play. Mirage is by far the most problematic of the classes, if anything. Now, I would say that in terms of Vindicator, sure, there's no uniqueness between them, realistically. Like, they don't feel very unique between the specializations. But in my opinion, your class works and does extremely well for burst DPS and for Condi DPS. Oh no, you can't get some boons for support. Okay, Thief still exists, right? Thief is even worse than you. So I don't know. I feel like this is such a weird argument when like you're clearly not even at the worst situation compared to like others. And let's be real. When you have effectively 7 classes that have specializations for healing, it's okay if yours can't do healing. It is fine. You are really good at a lot of other things than healing. Okay, sorry, and it's not even healing. It's like boon support, right? You're really good at insane damage. You're really good at like insane amounts of heals. Yeah, you can bring stability, whatever. Okay, sure. So maybe don't be a healer, but like the amount of damage you can dish out is like top tier. What are you talking about? Oh no, I can't do everything, so it's a problem. That's kind of weird.
Overpowered or underpowered, but because fixing it requires touching the core mechanic more than fixing numbers, that everything else relies on this specific core mechanic. Maybe the solution is adding flexibility, maybe it's improving certain legends, maybe it's adjusting how support Revenant interacts with them.
I agree, if he wants all that, reduce the damage by like 10%. In all game modes. Because he's, in terms of World v World and PvP, Vindicator and Herald are extremely strong. Extremely strong. And it's like their only weakness is their lack of CC. Kind of. Right? But like the amount of mobility they have, the amount of damage that they can dish out in an extremely short burst, even like short bow just melts people if you don't dodge like at the best time. Like, I don't know, like the amount of damage the guy does is like compensating for the lack of CC and boons, in my opinion. And again, Staff 5 exists, so
Centaur stance. Maybe give Conduit more support boons, or giving more CC to power builds, or redesigning Conduit or Rasa in a general way, more support friendly. I don't know, I'm just mentioning my ideas here. I'd love to see ArenaNet explore new design angles because Revenant has so much potential that's currently bottled up behind its rigid, inflexible core. And I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. So let me know in the comments if you have wild ideas or clever solution to this never ending.
Where is it? Hold up. Hold up. Alright, where's... which one's my Herald? This one. 232. Okay, short bow is 200, but I don't think you really use short bow with this. How much is the staff? No one uses hammer for PvE. Okay, where's the staff? Staff. Charge forward, knocking back enemies that cross your path. So this one hits 8 times, right? So isn't this basically, what, 1200 Defiance Break on just the staff? Or is it 9 actually, because damage 9x means it hits 9 times. I'm assuming the number of impacts is 8, but so that would be 8. This like is 1200 CC, right? With this one is 232. Infinite Fury, Infinite Might. Protection.
At last, now I will feast on their anguish.
Am I in combat or something? Oh. Have to wait for this guy. This healing. Okay, infinite protection. Cool. And you have stability. I don't know, man. Like... And Defiance Break. I don't know. I really don't know what he's talking about. Like, is it the best? No, but like... I really don't think there's that big of a problem with the kit itself. I get that it's limiting and it doesn't feel good, sure, but like in terms of just like what he was complaining about, I think there are like classes and specializations that suffer way more. Imagine a thief comes out and complains that they lack CC, meanwhile they have stealth, right? Imagine a thief also had like a ton of CC or like a good amount of CC. Can you imagine going into World v World and already thieves are like the bane of everything that is holy? and everything that is just in the world, in World v World. And then you also give them CC, so not only do they just can blink away, woo, 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 right? They can also CC you while they're doing it. I don't know, man. I just don't agree with his take about Vindicator, us like in terms of CC. In terms of it, honestly, I don't even agree with him that it's fun. To be fair, I don't agree with him that it's fun. It's unnecessarily annoying to switch this, and then you have the cooldown. You can't switch your weapon if you by mistake switch this and your weapon because the buttons are kind of close together. I don't know, man. I don't find this class to be very comfortable. In my opinion, it's only comfortable when you use one weapon. It's like, call it a skill issue, I don't care. I don't find Revenant comfortable. The most comfortable I am on the Revenant is standing back on a treasure mushroom and hitting 2, 3, 4 and spamming 1. Okay, that's the most comfortable I am on a Revenant. And quickness DPS, because you just sit on sword and you just swap between the legends when you run out of stuff. And that's pretty much it.